Well, good morning and welcome to Zen Fits, broadcasting here from Blackstone, Virginia, the center of the world. But then you too are at the center of the world. So let's talk about that center. I keep saying that when I begin my talk. So the title of this talk is GPS Zen. You know, the GPS navigator. Remember how when they first came, you had to buy a little navigator that was special, and now it comes in your phone, it comes in your car. It's just part of our everyday life. But let's look at it metaphorically. You see, when you read the yoga and Zen and all the spiritual philosophies, the scriptures, so the sutras. They all use, the masters use stories from a previous environment or world. Like the Bible uses planting and metaphors to transmit the truth, sowing seeds, growing, things, the planting society, or carts and a mule, a donkey, and, using their everyday world to capture the truth in metaphors or parables or analogies or whatever. But now we're in the modern world. So we need metaphors, parables, analogies, working ones from our world, which is what I love doing, find myself doing. So let's use the GPS navigator as a metaphor for Zen. Okay, so now there are two maps. We'll say there's the traditional map that we have used, that man has used from the beginning of map making. It's flat, and it draws a world that doesn't change. And if you want to get from one place to another, you have to draw a line on the map. The map doesn't change. You change. So this is a paradigm of the objective world. I'm here in my house on 606 Blackstone. If I want to get across the street, I have to go from here over there. And I'll draw a straight line. I want to go right there. If I'm lost, I might go in the other direction and then wander back, you see. But there's only one, the straight line is this from here to there. It's what you want to do. So you want to go as straight as possible, like the crow flies. You don't want to go all over like that. And so there's really one right way to go, but it's in time. In other words, this paradigm, this view, or understanding of the world is that the world is fixed. My house, my place in this. If I want to go to another room in my house, the house is fixed. And I've got to go from this point to there. I change, but the house doesn't change. This is an assumption. This is the way we look at reality. It's not wrong. We need it in order to catch a bus and go somewhere. If somebody says, "Where are you?" I have to locate myself on a map, you see, that's fixed, that they see too. So we assume that we all see the same map, the same world. You see, we assume, without question, that we're all seeing the same Blackstone, the same America, the same state, the same planet, you see, the same universe. We assume, quite naturally, that it's fixed, and we're in it. So when I'm born, we're born into this fixed world. We move around on it for a few years, changing a few buildings and whatever, but the world stays the same. Space-time is fixed, you see. And then when I leave, but the world is still here, I think. So I think after I'm dead, all of this will all be just like it is right now. Maybe some changes, you see. But there's the belief that the objective world is fixed and that we all see the same world. Now that's a map. And you get a book of maps called Atlas Maps, you see. And we like to laugh. You look back at the maps of the world from the Middle Ages, and it was like the Europe, the land was an island, and around this island of this continent, you see, was the great abyss, and dragons lived there, and sea monsters, and you could, if you went out there, you'd fall off, you see. It's a very hermetically sealed little world, you see. But then with the modern age, it opened up. The infinite world. Oh, you can just go to the moon. But the assumption is that the laws, the space-time laws on the moon will be the same as here on Earth. That's how you can get to the moon, because the mathematics is the same. Go to wherever you go in space, the math will be the same. The world, the objective world, the logic of it will be the same. And this is the modern world. The objective viewpoint. But now the GPS navigator, wow. Look what happens with the GPS navigator. You turn on your navigator and you are kind of like you're at a point, you know, and then when you act, you point at, well, where do you want to go? The car is, or if you've got it in your hand, you are a still point. You can't really see yourself in the navigator. The navigator is kind of like a point of knowing. It's a point, a center. And then you say, well, where do you want to go? Well, you log in, I want to go. Suppose you go on a trip and you say, well, where do you want to go? I want to go home. All right. Well, now the navigator will tell you how to get home, okay? And it will give you various routes. And if you, you may just trust the navigator, or you may say, no, I want a different one. But the point is, nothing happens until you move. There is no map out there. There is no overview of the whole trip. It's kind of like static. But then you start to go, and as soon as you leave your house, or as soon as you leave the street, or wherever you are, the map begins to move. But you are still, you see, that point, of course, in your car, or if you're walking, is the center of the world. So you go from here to there. You don't move like an ant on a flat map. The flat map is alive. The flat map suddenly fits you like clothes. And as you move, the world moves around, reboots around you. So you're always at the center. You're always at the center. And no matter which way you choose, you're always going home. You can't piss the GPS navigator off. The navigator will never say, you idiot, you took the wrong turn. The navigator just says, turn right, turn left, turn right, turn left, turn left, turn left. You're always going, because you're already at home. You're already at the center. Now, what is home? Well, there's a difference between a house and a home. If somebody says, where do you live? I don't say, I live at home. Well, I could, but I mean, nobody would find me. I would have to say on 606 South Main Street, or whatever your address is, you see. So it would locate me on the flat map, and then other people could find me. So it's a house. But home, while it can be your house, has a different meaning. Like you might have a chair in your house where you feel at home. I have a chair which I feel at home. It's my chair. And then yesterday, the cat threw up on it and violated my home. I was really pissed. Damn cat. I have a meditation room. It's my home. When I go in my meditation room, It's, I'm at home. Home is where there is no going home. You are at the center. Your home is the center of your world, you see. And the cat got in my meditation room and threw up on my bed. Violated again. But the point is, home is where you are at ease without conflict with the world. You are at the center. The center means at rest. You look at a wheel, the hub of the wheel is at rest. It doesn't move. Take a wheel, well, here's the axis, right? Right, you got the wheel. And the world turns around, but this is always center. The axis doesn't go around unless the wheel is out of alignment, but center stays the same and the wheel goes around. Well, this is like a GPS navigator. The GPS navigator, you are the center, and the world revolves around, fits you, and changes. You don't change. You're always at home, and this is Zen. Coming and going, I am always at home. That is the Zen awakening. Coming and going, I'm always at home. That's the GPS Zen, you see. But on the flat map, you're always going home or leaving home. You're always on something that's fixed. But with the GPS, with the Zen home, nothing is fixed. The world changes when you step. Take one movement, and you can see this for yourself. Just look at your house. Now you're in a room, and this is a world. And you are at the center, and if you could zoom out, like you can on a computer map, you could zoom out, boom, you're out of the house, you're in the town, you're in the state, you're in the country, you're in the America, you're in the Western Hemisphere, you're on the Atlantic or whatever. Zoom, zoom. Now you're on the moon, and you're looking at the Earth from space, and then you're looking at the Earth and the moon from Jupiter. I don't know, and you keep zoom, 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 zoom to infinity. Or you zoom in, zoom, zoom, zoom on the map, and you zoom into your house, and you zoom in the room, and you see you, and you zoom into your body, and you see the cells in the heart, and you zoom, zoom to infinity. But there is a point in which the negative zooming in, zooming out, comes out of one still point, and that's you. So wherever you move as that still point, you're always at the center of the world, which means you're always at home, even though you're going somewhere to get home. You see? So coming and going, not you're always at home, coming and going, I'm always at home. This is a shift, you see. You see, in the modern Western world that was created in the 16th century by Galileo and Copernicus and the explorers and Bacon and Descartes and the philosophers of the scientific method, you see, they suddenly saw that the world was objectively flat and mathematically discoverable, you see. It wasn't a hermetically sealed little island whose cause was in the Bible. You know, if you wanted to, you know, alchemy was the science, and it was a mystical science. There was no objective world to discover. It was subjective. The world was subjective. And then it became totally objective, and it was so successful that the objective view became the only legitimate view. It's now our common sense viewpoint of Newton. Newton's world is our common sense world. Everything is like a pool table, and we're all billiard balls popping into each other, trying to stay out of the pocket. You see, it's kind of like a flat world of things, bumper cars, governed by, we say, oh, God, or by chance. Either way, you're still a bumper car, Either way, you're still just a marble bouncing around for a while on this flat table. That's an objective viewpoint, and it's fine for playing pool, but it doesn't tell you who you are, and it doesn't give you the sense, the feeling, the awareness of being at home. Home is always the promised land. I got to get to it, or it's in the past. In the past, I got to restore home, or I got to get to home. But right now, I don't feel at home. I feel like an alien. I feel like I'm in exile. So religion, Christianity, for instance, has become a religion for exiles. You're always trying to get home, either to the promised land, to the garden in the past, or the promised land in the future. But right now, we feel lost. Well, that's because we need another map. We need a different map, you see. Nothing wrong with the old map. It's just that it's become the only map. So use the GPS navigator. Next time you use it, think about it in these terms. Maybe your wife or your husband sitting over there with a flat map and you got the GPS map, and look at the different way they function, you see. Both are valid, but we need both. So you can use the flat map and go from here to there to get to a better house, a better home, but while you're doing it, you can always feel at home. That way you're never in exile. Thanks for dropping in. See you next time.